Video coverage of IT Expo is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.
Hi, Rachel Ramsey here, IT Expo in Miami. I'm here with Rick McFarland from Voice4Net. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, nice to see you.
So tell us a little bit about Voice4Net.
Voice4Net is a software applications provider for contact centers. So everything that has to do with the things that the PBX or the telephone system cannot or will not do, we provide integration with that, with databases, CRMs, agent interfaces, etc.
Excellent. So one of the biggest trends coming to the contact center is WebRTC.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how that's going to change the contact center?
Yeah, WebRTC, which stands for Real-Time Communications, is a really awesome technology. It started out just as a peer-to-peer browser communications, but then became so much more when we were able to design and develop as vendors a server-based engine that would take the browser communication piece, the voice and video piece, and tie that into a network. Now all of a sudden you can deploy it in a lot of different places, contact center being one of them, which I think will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of the new RTC technology.
So how do you think WebRTC is going to change things for developers and business end users?
Well, for the end users, it'll make communications on demand that much easier. So if you're surfing a website, for example, instead of having to go to the contact us page and go find an 800 number and try to sit on hold for God knows how long, or go through an IVR system, which is really awful, you can literally just click and enter yourself right into a queue and begin talking. So that's going to be the beauty of that, is better navigation to an actual human that you need to get a hold of. For developers, it's awesome because it's standard HTML5 JavaScript type programming. So now I can take what was a complex telecom technology that was, you had to have all this expertise and all this special code and everything. Now that's still an underlying engine, but now that engine is opened up to regular web developers now. So I can take advantage of the beauty and the graphics and the experience of what the users really want and still give them the communications capability on the back end.
Mm-hmm. So what a lot of companies like to do is customization, keywords.
Yeah.
So how does WebRTC impact that? Will people be able to customize different solutions? And will it impact things like cost and time to market?
Absolutely. The really cool thing about the development, again, it's HTML5 and JavaScript on the front end. And that opens you up to a whole new world of developers. So it's going to decrease costs because those types of developers are very numerous and very available, and much less expensive than like a C# guy or a telecom programmer, etc. So that'll be cool, but also you'll be able to take advantage of some of the graphical capabilities. So as you want to customize and integrate this into your existing CRM or your existing infrastructure, you can literally just tack on a few lines of code and instantly make it RTC capable.
How do you think WebRTC is going to change things for the agents? Do you think it's going to require more training, or how do you think it'll change the experience for them?
Oh, much less training, actually. In fact, because of the graphical capabilities, we've basically deployed our own architecture and our own framework to come up with the concept of widgets. And these are things that are on the agent interface that give them information about the customer that they're talking to, about maybe the back-end ERP package, or different things that are going on that they might need access to. It makes it available so that you don't have to sit there and go Alt-Tab. You got 14 applications on your desktop, somebody calls, they ask a question, and you're having to fly through all these applications. You've got two big screens on your desk, and it becomes a very difficult experience. This makes it so you can have one nice graphical scrolling experience and move pieces of information interactively around that you need on demand, because again, it is a rich web experience.
So WebRTC is relatively new, it's building, but what do you suggest for businesses looking to add WebRTC to their strategy?
Well, for example, they need to have a good underlying architecture first. I always make the joke that if you don't have a good manual procedure, the only thing another new technology is going to do is help you screw up faster. So if they have good procedures, but they want to create a better user experience or a more robust user experience, and when I say user, that could be the agent or the customer or consumer or their customer on the other end. And if they have that infrastructure in place, then adding WebRTC on top of that is really just the addition of some pieces of technology and integrating into what they have.
So one of the areas WebRTC is supposed to impact the most is contact center.
Yeah.
So when do you think, realistically, looking at a time frame and time-wise, how long do you think it'll be before we actually see WebRTC in a lot of contact center applications?
You're already seeing it today. I mean, there's lots of deployments out there of WebRTC today in the contact center space. They're more on smaller scale implementations at this stage, but this is the year. I mean, for the last 2 or 3 years now, we've been working with the infrastructure, and Google and Mozilla and all those guys have been working on that. But now it really is mainstream. I mean, even companies like Band, which is a large equipment provider, they have RTC gateways now, just same as session border controllers. So what that gives you the capability to do is now scale that deployment. So I think 2014 is going to be the year you're going to see massive deployment of RTC style applications.
And what about voice for net? What can we expect to see from you in this space?
Same thing, and that's why I can guarantee that 2014 is that, because I mean, we have other companies that do it as well, but we're actually going to be launching our RTC version of the contact center software in March. So we are already have great results in the lab and great results in beta test, and we're highly confident that it's going to make a difference. It's going to be a game changer for us in terms of what we can deploy, how quickly we can do it, what kind of rich interface we can give the customers in the contact center, and this is the year for that.
Excellent. And you spoke on a panel here at IT Expo.
Yes.
Talking about the next generation of contact centers. So did you have the WebRTC tie-in? How did that go?
Yeah, a lot of there was, of course, a technology tie-in, WebRTC being a technical possibility for contact centers. But you know what was interesting in the next gen thing that we really enjoyed talking about is the human side of the equation, because it doesn't matter what technology you throw at consumers, whether it's text or email or live web chat or RTC talk, et cetera, or good old-fashioned telephone. It's about communicating with the humans and getting it to the right one quickly as possible. We like to call it, communications any place, any way, any time, especially the anyway part. They've got different medias they want to talk through, and WebRTC is just one additional piece of that. But we also talked about in next gen how sometimes the agent may not be just the contact center. Now it may be people that are beyond the call center agents, and there's a percentage of people's time that are the best suited to help a customer with a particular issue. A lot of people call it, today they call it just normal escalations, like escalation to a department. But when you get transferred around, that gets really problematic. So it was really interesting to discuss some of the up and coming pieces where the technologies will get you to the right human, whether that be an agent or whether that be a technical person or whatever, so you can get a faster response to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think the channel is ready for this change?
That's a good question. The scary part about RTC is that it really lends itself towards cloud-based implementations. So everybody that has embraced the cloud concept, and whether that be a hosted contact center or hosted CRM, whatever, I think they're completely prepared. Independent agents, for example, are a perfect example. Interconnects, on the other hand, who have customer premise equipment, they represent the big manufacturers, they have truck rolls, they have payroll. It's going to be tough for them to first see the return on investment for them, because they're like, okay, well, how do I sell this and make money with this? The beauty of what RTC allows us to do as developers is we can deploy it as a cloud-based solution or as customer premise. Now, some people may think, oh, it's just for the cloud. Yeah, that's got some advantages, but in the customer premise environment, it's still very exciting because it's that rich user experience that I can bring to the table much faster, and I can run that on their local area network just as I can on a wide area network. So it doesn't matter, and that's the beauty of it.
Got it. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
It was great to meet you, and look forward to seeing that announcement later this
Thanks.
year.
Take care.
Video coverage of IT Expo is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.